Good morning everyone. If you tuned in to last week's video, you know that I was looking for a 5-star read. We went through 3 books, not a single 5-star. We got pretty close, but I did not find a 5-star in that video, and that was the entire point of the video. So today we are once again looking for a 5-star book. If you didn't watch last week's video, I'll link it down below, but here's a quick little recap. Trying to find as many 5 stars as possible. Pirate book. That was really creepy. It was not a 5-star read. 2.5 stars. It was a 4-star read. So the mission continues. Between last week and this week, I did read one book. It was the final book in the Gentleman Bastard sequence, The Republic of Thieves, and I ended up giving that 5 stars. Didn't get that on camera because it was not part of a video, so it doesn't actually count, but I'm hoping to continue this 5-star streak with our next read in this challenge, which is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I was lucky enough to have this sent to me by HQ, the publisher. If you haven't read Ashley Poston's works before, she's actually an author of mine, and her romances, they're contemporary romances, but they're magical realism. So in all of her books there is this one element of magic or something whimsical, and I absolutely adore her books. If I'm not mistaken, this book is about a struggling songwriter and another musician who have the same melody stuck in their heads, and aggressively stuck in their heads, and they must finish the song together in order to get that melody out of their heads. They disagree a lot. I believe he's grumpy and she's very headstrong. I could be wrong about that. I haven't read the book yet, but yeah, it just sounds so perfect, and it's set in a small hometown. I'm hoping it has those summery vibes as well. You all know I'm craving that, but I cannot wait to get into this. I am in the car now, but once I get home we will be starting Sounds Like Love, and I couldn't be more excited. I have heard from a lot of reviewers whom I trust, and they have given this book like close to 5 stars, 4.5 and that sort of rating, so I'm pretty hopeful. I'm pretty hopeful that we can get something out of this. Guys, this book is so much fun. I'm currently this far through, so just over the halfway mark. I was reading for hours last night. I could not put this down. Our main character, Joni, is an extremely successful songwriter who's in a bit of a creative rut. She hasn't been able to write or create new music. At the very beginning of this book, she goes to a concert for one of the pop stars whom she writes hits for, and she kisses this man there who is an ex-boy band member called Sebastian. As they kiss, she begins to hear this melody in her mind, as well as something that he is thinking. And then almost immediately after, and I'm literally talking chapter 1, she leaves to go spend some time with her family in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. So perfect summer setting, by the way. But she realizes that she can hear Sebastian's thoughts in her head and he can hear her. So they've got this telepathic connection. He has to come to the Outer Banks so they can fix whatever's going on together and figure out what this connection is, how to end the connection, and all of that. So that is pretty much set up at the very start of the book. That's not a spoiler at all. So yeah, this story is just these 2 musicians that have this persistent melody as well as each other's voices stuck in their heads, and they're figuring out what on earth this is, how to go about this, all set against the backdrop of a small beachside town in North Carolina. It's just so much fun. I don't know what it is. I do feel the pull to read more fantasy books during the winter time, but something about a summer rom-com, it just makes me feel warm on the coldest day. Less than 100 pages to go. Actually, I believe I have 50 pages. 50 pages left of this book until we're all done. I really am liking it. Like I said, there is just something extra about Ashley Poston's stories. But as for things I'm not quite loving, there is quite a good portion of miscommunication. Well, okay, not miscommunication, more like the main character's own insecurities kind of get in the way of them seeing how much the other person likes them. You know what I mean? They're so obviously into one another, but they'll keep acting as though, oh, you don't really like me, or like, oh, this is one-sided. Like, it's so obvious but they just refuse to see what's right in front of them. The other thing, it might seem like a completely useless complaint, but pet names. This is something that annoys me in every romance book. Like, what's wrong with a good old-fashioned baby or sweetheart? Why can't we just have one of those two? He calls her Bird, like songbird, bird, and it literally hurts me. Why can't we have a normal nickname? Like, I just don't see why every male main character in every contemporary romance book ever just has the most rogue nickname for the girl. Once again, that's like a really stupid complaint because it actually doesn't take away from the story or the characters or anything like that, or from their romance. Without giving anything else away, I will say that the fact that the characters can see into each other's heads is genuinely so much fun. Of course, they have little internal thoughts that the other person can't help but hear. So it's like those private thoughts, like when our male main character sees Joni in a dress and he's just thinking about how beautiful she looks and stuff. It's so sweet. And it's like she's not supposed to know that he's thinking it, but she can't help but hear it because they're inside each other's heads. It's just like their minds are splayed open for each other to read. It's so cute. However, I feel like we're about to hit a pretty critical juncture in the book. There is something happening and it is nerve-wracking because, like I said, we only have 50 pages to go. I'm gonna finish this book. It's not gonna take me too long at all. 50 pages, that's like what, half an hour of reading, and then we'll rate and review this book. I actually really enjoyed it. I finished it and I'm gonna come out straight away and say it. It was 4 stars, not a 5-star read, but really good nonetheless. I don't know what this depressing theme is of a lot of romance authors writing about dementia and memory loss. I know Abby Jimenez's new release was about that, but it is hurting me. Every bit of commentary I gave you in this video is absolutely true. I really like the characters, I love the romance, the setting was of course gorgeous, and I do love the little touches of magic that Ashley Poston sprinkles into her contemporary romances. We also had a little bit of a cameo and I really appreciated that. I highly recommend reading this if you want something that just feels like a magical love song. That's the best way of describing this book. I think it's perfectly named. That ending, the ending was still good. The story wrapped up well. I got what I wanted out of the plot and everything like that, but still, it just 4 stars. Very good. However, not 5 stars. I swear this video and last week's video, they're probably cursed because why am I incapable of finding a 5-star book? But the second I turned the camera off last week, I stumbled upon a 5-star read in The Republic of Thieves. Anyway, that's all from me today. I'll see you tomorrow where we go to our next read, and this is a complete 180 from this book, let me tell you. See you tomorrow. Hello again everyone, it's a beautiful new day and so we have a beautiful new book. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab is the next book I'm going to be reading. Much like Sounds Like Love, it is a new June release and I have been so incredibly excited for this because it's V.E. Schwab, and if there's one thing about me, I love V.E. Schwab. I think I've read every single book bar like 2 that she has ever put out. V.E. Schwab has never ever failed to deliver. I don't actually know too much about this book except that it's been described by V.E. Schwab as toxic lesbian vampires, and that much like Addie LaRue, it explores like humanity or the human experience or something to do with that. And a lot of people say if you like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, you should definitely read this book. That's what the early reviewers were saying, and I adored Addie LaRue, so I have no doubt that I'm going to enjoy this, and this is our final attempt at 5 stars. It says 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. I've been looking forward to this for such a long time. I don't want to jinx things. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm a third of the way through this book and I am getting the 5-star feeling. So we got introduced to 3 different women who became vampires and the situation that caused them to become vampires basically. All with the exception of one. We haven't seen one of their origin stories yet, but I assume we'll get around to that. Oh my gosh, it's so good. One of the vampires in here specifically, Maria, hers is a very like female rage kind of situation. It's excellent. V.E. Schwab's writing is spectacular, and that has been true for every single book she's ever put out. The story is fascinating. The world, like the way she's writing different girls' worlds but somehow connecting all of them together is just amazing. There is this one POV which is 100% my favorite. Anyway, this is fantastic and I can't stop reading it. It is now the evening, so I'm gonna put this down for a bit and then read through the night. You know the drill. A lot of this seems to explore ideas like the human condition, what it means to be human. So similar themes to Addie LaRue, I do understand that, but it's very, very different. Brilliant characters, fascinating plot lines. I can't wait to see how they overlap. I love myself some vampires. I've always thought they were one of the coolest supernatural creatures. I'll check back in at like 2/3, but it's really promising. If any book is 5 stars from these past 2 videos, I think it's gonna be this one. I'm just past the 3/4 mark of this book, and guys, I think we have it. I think we have the 5-star. This is an absolute masterpiece. Now, of course, like I told you, we follow 3 different vampires. Their names are Maria, Charlotte, and Alice. Maria is a Spanish girl living in the 16th century, and she becomes a vampire because she wants to escape this marriage. She is the first character that we're introduced to, and the first character that we really connect to because we get quite a lot of her story. Our next vampire, Alice, is living in 2019, and she's a Scottish girl who is going to school in Boston. So she's thinking of this as kind of a fresh start for her, but things go wrong because she gets turned into a vampire. And then our final girl, Lottie, is the last one we're sort of introduced to, or the last one we kind of get to know. And she is an English girl who was sent to London during the Regency era to join in the season, like the ton. But she's a lesbian. She really doesn't want to be a part of this season. She has no interest in marriage or anything like that. And yeah, along the way she ends up a vampire, and the 3 women's stories do connect, but they connect, like, you only really see how they connect a little bit later on once you get to Lottie's part of the story, which only starts after the halfway mark, so she's the last one that we get to know. But each of these girls' lives are so vividly written. Like, I feel like I've lived a lifetime with them, obviously because they are long-lived. We get to experience a lot of years alongside them. The writing is absolutely exquisite. I didn't realize just how much I'd missed V.E. Schwab's particular writing style, but also just her capacity to make us care so deeply about the characters. I experienced this in Addie LaRue, and I definitely feel it in this book as well. And I know that this book was marketed a lot as like toxic lesbian vampires, but beneath the veneer of toxic lesbian vampires, this book is actually such a big exploration of the sort of yearning we have as people for human connection. It's really smart that she chose vampires to tell this story, because she uses a vampire's craving or hunger for blood as a sort of parallel to their hunger for companionship. Because how on earth are you going to have companionship when you're immortal? Like, surely you just walk through life alone, and that's very much what our characters experience. So much like Addie LaRue, this is very focused on the human condition and things like that, and I love it. Right now I'm on page 419 of 533, so we're very close to the end, and I'm really relieved for that fact because I am going out today, so I don't really know how much reading I'm going to be able to get done. I am going to see my friends and we're going to grab a little yochi, but after that I'm bringing you with me because we are going to book club at the romance bookstore. If you've been on this channel before, I have talked about this book club before. I'm part of 2 book clubs. One is just a book club I formed with my friends, but then this one is run by a romance bookstore in Sydney, one of the loveliest places, and every month I do a book club there. They pick a romance book for us to read that month. This month's book was Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. And if you know me, you know I really don't like dark romance, and I really don't like Rena Kent's books. I've given them a try before. They are just not for me. Dark romance as a genre is just not for me either. But I was kind of surprised because aside from this one chapter, I would say that this book was actually better than all of Rena Kent's other books. Like, it was readable. I got to the end of it, I didn't DNF it, so I am pleasantly surprised, even though I only gave the book like 2.75 stars. That is a surprise for me. But in this book club, we always talk about our opinions pretty openly, and honestly, everyone knows how I feel about like Rena, Kent, and dark romance, and we all respect each other's opinions, so I can't wait to go in and see how the other girls found it, because I do know there are quite a few girls in there who love dark romance, so I'm wondering how their opinions will be different from my own. So I'm gonna head into the city, meet up with my friends, and then we're gonna head into book club together. I will bring this with me. I finished Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil last night, and my god, I have some thoughts. I literally just woke up and turned this camera on because, oh my goodness. Guys, I have some excellent news. We have found a 5-star read. It was phenomenal. As with every book, there are a few things that go into my feeling about the book. The characters, the world, the plot. So starting with the characters, they were so perfectly fleshed out. We are following these 3 girls who eventually become vampires, but we follow them across centuries. Or like, we follow some of them across centuries. The final girl, she turned in 2019, so not her, but we follow these girls over a long period of time, so you really feel like you know them, you know their experiences, you know everything they've been through, you can really see inside their heads. And like I said in my earlier check-in, it does feel like you've lived entire lifetimes with these girls. So the characters, absolutely amazing, and watching their evolution, like especially with Maria, who was the first girl, the Spanish girl that we meet. That was crazy, just seeing how her persona develops over centuries. So yes, love the characters. All of them are complex, and you can trust V.E. Schwab to write complex characters, not like black or white kind of characters. Onto the world, we explore multiple different continents, multiple different centuries, and the way that the world of the vampires is so uniquely crafted in this story. Like, it adheres to the regular stereotypes about vampires, you know, the fangs, the aversion to sunlight, the stake through the heart, but it just takes on a life of its own in this book. It's so good. I love the world. And the plot itself, this book is very much character driven rather than plot driven, because of course we're looking at 3 different people's stories, but because you become so invested in the characters, it doesn't really matter that there's no strict plot. You know that everything is leading somewhere, you don't really know where. I was spiraling a little bit when I finished this. I really don't know what to do with myself now. This is one of those books that I just won't stop thinking about, so well done V.E. Schwab, you've never led me wrong. This is amazing, and I think if you enjoyed The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, you will absolutely adore this. Toxic lesbian vampires, but it's actually about hunger. Hunger is the central theme of this book. As I said before, the hunger for companionship, but also hunger for power, hunger for purpose, hunger for vengeance. Incredible stuff. And now we've found a 5-star read, and so that leads us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for following along, and I am going to see you next week. Bye.